Now, before taking that loan to actually go ahead and build your mom's, your parents, or your uncle's house, think about this. Do this. Because why I'm telling you this, I've received, I think that was like 7th case that I've received from clients and telling me, you know what, Joseph, I'm found myself into a crisis. Why? This is it. And this is what I'm telling you, people. The black tax is real and is really affecting people out there. And I want you to be very smart. Why? Be able to help your parents and be able to help yourself so that you do not do what we call denying yourself to a point whereby you'd even disregard the current family that you have. We want to help everybody. Can you imagine this? Somebody takes a loan to go and build their parents' house. Why? The guy was actually working in Kenya, got an opportunity to go outside the country, to go ahead and work somewhere in Gulf countries, okay? Let me just say it, in Dubai. And this guy actually got a good salary. Well, 100,000 Kenyan shillings in Kenya is a good salary. And how much is it in terms of dollars? Roughly like 1,000 USD or something a month. Yeah, that's a good cash when you're in Kenya. So now, this guy, that's what he's getting at the end of the month. And now what happens is that the parents, of course, they have been admiring to have a home. Not that because they live somewhere outside, no, but they have a home. But the way you usually say, like, hey, I just want to get myself a good home, something of sort. And the parents were like, you know what? Have you ever find this kind of parents who are so clingy and they're like, you know what, you get yourself a good salary, and I think the guy I think he shared or something, and the parents were like, you know what, you can get a loan of like 2.5 million, come build us a home. After all, we did bring you up and what have you. You can just imagine in Africa how sometimes parents be manipulative. Not all of them, but some are manipulative. And the guy said, you know what, he succumbed to the pressures of the parents. He went ahead and took the loan of 2.5 million and actualized the building the home. And congratulations, everyone celebrates you in your village. You've built yourself a family home. Or sometimes your parents does not, sort of push you to take a loan. Sometimes you yourself, by your own will, you took the loan to go ahead and surprise your parents. And this is why I always talk about, there's something, today I'm going to write it on the board. Sometimes you people don't get this thing correct. There's something called delayed gratification. Delayed, and I want you to put it somewhere and never forget this one. Delayed gratification. What is this? I'm going to explain to you. So say you are employed, you get yourself a salary, say you want that 100,000, and you're like, you know what, I've been admiring to build my parents' home. So you go ahead to your circle or your bank or your institution, grab that 2.5 million, and obviously 2.5 million won't get you like a big house. 2.5 million in Kenyan, in terms of dollars, that's like 20,000 or 22,000 USD or something. That won't get you like a huge, amazing, wonderful bungalow. No, but at least you get you quite of an elegant place, okay? Now, the point is this. You get yourself a loan to build this home. Remember one thing, first of all, you have violated the principle of investment. Why? You've built yourself a home that is not generating anything. And I know what you're about to say. Let me just, whoa. Hang on. I know you're about to say, they are my parents, I love them. See, now you're emotional. And in the world of finance, the world of money, we are not emotional. Whether you like it or you don't like it, I'm not in a business of you liking it or not liking it. I'm in a business of telling you the truth, all right? And maybe that's the difference between me and your preacher, I just tell you the way it is. Okay, so the point is, I know you love your parents. I do love your parents. And everyone watching this, they love their parents, okay? And we would love to support them. But does it mean that you're supposed to ignore some principles? Because you're going to get yourself into lots of problems. You're servicing a loan, and where you channel that loan. You see, there's one principle they should never violate as far as the loan is concerned. So when you take a loan, this is a loan, where you're supposed to channel this loan should be a structure that is generating income. To help you do what? Service this loan, because it comes with a loan plus interest. And guess what happens now? You get this loan, build yourself a home. When you build yourself a home, guess what? It's like a dead capital. What does it mean? It does not generate anything. It does not generate any cash flow. Therefore, and you're required to pay not just the 2.5 million that you took, but also on top of that, let's say maybe you pay it at around 3.5, because they give you a lot of time to pay. Maybe they told you, hey, you're gonna pay that for 5 years, and you're like, yeah, amazing, 5 years. You pay like 3.5 million. So at the end of the day, you acquired a property worth 2.5 million, but in real sense, you paid for 3.5 million. Now, this is the question. Honestly speaking, did you even do calculations? What you gonna get yourself into? And then let's say they give you 2.5 million, you're earning 1,000. For those who have never taken a debt or a loan in Kenya, how much do you think they can part ways with? Probably 2.5 million they will ask you to pay for around, quite a chunk, probably 50, 30, not even 30, talk about 40, 50,000, depends. The longer the period of time, the lesser the amount of money. If they give you 5 years, maybe they will ask you like 50,000, probably half of that what you earn, or maybe 40,000. Probably that is 40% of what you earn. And remember, it was 100% gross. You tore the taxes and what have you. Probably that goes all the way. But anyway, in Gulf, you don't get the taxes, deductions, and what have you. So you get your clean 40,000 or rather 100,000. So you deduct your 40,000. So your 40,000. So you're remaining with the 60,000. These parents that you build the same house, remember one thing, you're done with the house, it's amazing, we love it. Probably going to furnish the house, probably buying furnitures and what have you. And remember one thing, their parents, you're still going to support them. Hey, you know what? We need 2,000, we need 10,000, we need 5,000. We need to eat, we need to do that, we need to do that. Blah, blah, blah. So probably there is another 10,000 at the end of the month or 5,000 at the end of the month that you're not going to shake it off, whether you build the home or you don't build the home. So there is still another 5,000 coming up each and every time for you to do exactly that. Okay? So now the question is, am I saying that you should not build them a home? No. One thing you're supposed to ask yourself is this. Okay, for God's sake, I just got employed. Okay, so how can I actually do, or what can I actually do to actually actualize this home? I build them a home, so they be good, I feel good, and at the same time, I don't get myself into a cash crunch. Because the guy who called me actually told me, you know what, Joseph, I'm in a point whereby my wife, my kids, I cannot afford to take any other loan. I cannot even buy a property for myself. And the wife tells me, hey, we should get a home, we should do this, we should do the other, we need to invest. For God's sake, right now I'm being deducted 40,000. Actually, it was like 42,000. 42,000 is gone. So I'm remaining with like 58,000. 58,000, deduct all the recurrent expenditures, the house rent, the food, the clothing, the medical. I'm remaining with like 15,000. I don't even know what I can do with 15,000. Even if I was to go there and get another 3 million, I cannot qualify. I don't even know what I can be able to do. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Now that's the problem. What are you supposed to do? See, remember this term? Delayed gratification. Let me now explain what that means. That simply means, yes, you want to build them a home, but for now, appreciate the fact that for now you cannot afford. You know why you're borrowing? You're borrowing because you cannot afford. Because obviously you're not borrowing to invest. You see, if you borrowed to invest, yes, I could have said, true, you cannot afford, but you're actually looking at it from the point of investing for the sake of you in future affording it. But now, when you say you are going to borrow to build a home, you cannot afford it. Appreciate, be at peace with that. So how do you delay the gratification? To delay the gratification is that satisfaction you usually feel when you support them, when you do an amazing thing, when you buy that car, you feel good. That's what we call the gratification. Okay. Now the point is this: to delay is to prolong that. Take a little bit of time before you achieve. Prolong it. See, how to prolong it is to be like, okay, fine. I would love to build them a home in, like, let's say, for example, you are the one who went to Gulf. You're earning that amount of money. You're like, if I was to save by myself, by the way, I would recommend, even if you would rather even save by yourself and build the home, you don't get yourself into any debt. If I was to dedicate, let's say, 50,000 each and every month for the savings, for the purpose of me building my parents a home, that makes a little bit of sense compared to you borrowing. Okay? Now, it will take me, let's say, 2 years or 3 years or something of sort. Okay? But now what you're doing is you're like, okay, fine. I don't want to wait for 2 years or 3 years. I just want to do it now. Now. I just want to do it now. That village must know who I am and all those kind of things, Remember what we call about the social debt? Go watch that video, by the way. Something called social debt. Quite amazing. So when you do the delayed gratification, you can decide, okay, fine. I'm outside the country or I'm within the country and I'm looking forward to building my parents a home, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be dedicating, say, 20,000 each and every month into a money market fund, which is so much liquid, meaning it gives me interest each and every month. And for a whole year, I'll have an X amount of money. Then I'm going to use a certain fraction of that amount of money. I'm going to do some foundation. I'm going to go ahead the next year. I'm going to do this next thing, the other thing, that in a period of 5 years time. For God's sake, 5 years is not that long time in the world of investment. For the next 5 years, I'm going to go ahead and do what? Build this kind of a structure. Or option 2, you can build a structure that you can comfortably afford, so you don't get yourself into debts, and at the same time you at least build them a structure, because we need to help our parents and what have you. But there is one thing I will tell you. This one might sound controversial, but there's a reality. There is no way you can create a wealth in reverse. What do I mean by that? There is no way you can. See, what we do by creating wealth is to inspire the future generation. Is your kids from there going for? There's no way you can pull it's hard to create it's hard to create wealth in reverse, because when you say you want to create the wealth in reverse, there's some of the software, there's some of the understanding, there's some of the characters you need to shake off that can affect the wealth creation. And I always love to give this example. Have you ever tried to go back to your old, say, your grandparents or whatever, your parents, maybe back in up country, and you try to sell them on a certain idea? They always tell you that can't work, that can't work. It can't work based on how they understand. It can't work based on what the experience that they have ever had in their life. So what happens? If you ask me, what is the best way, Joseph, to create wealth from where you are? I would say is focusing forward, is investing. Those young kids that you have, if you can invest into them, how you handle their money, how you tell them to invest, and all those, you can create the wealth forward. It is hard to create wealth backward. It is very tough to create wealth backward, but focusing on the front, you can be able to realize that what we call the wealth creation. What have I said since I started talking on this video? I said, be very careful when you take a loan to build your parents' home, and not just your parents' home, even your own home. Ask yourself, what am I even doing? What do I need as of now? Can you imagine then? You're a young guy at 27, 28, you're lucky to get that amount of salary in a month. And then you go ahead and buy yourself a property, whatever, and then you start building and what have you. If you build and rent it out, it's quite amazing. It's actually earning you money. But I would recommend, if you can focus, sometimes I tell people, if you get that 50 by 100 piece of land or plot, I would recommend you really build your home there, and also incorporate some other rental places whereby you can be able to rent. At least that property is not quote unquote idle. It's actually generating some cash out there. But this issue of rushing, it's just acquiring a piece of land, building your own home and what have you, you're barely getting started. You're not even so good. You don't even have structure that you've laid out there to generate you cash flow. You're the biggest asset and what. Be very careful. Especially if, say, you're employed somewhere and you're relying on that. If, let's say, even you're what we call the self-employed, you're running a business, you don't have structure that can just, you don't have a structure that you can just sleep and wake up and it's making you some cash out there. Can you just imagine that? You see, the financial freedom is when you can just sleep, you don't even worry to make some calls, but there's some money coming in. And not until you have that kind of a structure laid in place. I would say focus on creating it. Don't focus on going and delaying, or maybe sort of, what do we call it, putting that money somewhere idle, generating you nothing. Be very good. Everyone loves a home. Everyone loves to build their parents' home. It's quite amazing. I totally and 100% support it, but be careful on the procedure and the method that you use or apply to actualize that. Can actually get you into lots of problems, can get you into what we call the unhealthy debt. Because the guy actually definitely called me. He was in unhealthy debt. He wants to progress. He can barely progress. He has been tied for the next 5 years. Can you imagine if you were to dedicate that amount of money can you imagine if you were to dedicate half of your salary of 50,000 each and every month for the next 5 years? And remember, I told you guys, if you can dedicate only 5,000 per month continuously in a return of 13% per year, for 10 years, you have yourself $1 million bob. Now you're dedicating 50,000 per year, getting the same returns. How much would you get? Okay, just imagine how much you'd be able to get. Probably you can even get your home and the parents' home at the same time. Come on, be smart when it comes to the world of finance. For now, it's a goodbye. Don't forget to go ahead and grab that number of mine. If you would like to have a conversation with me like that gentleman, grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call or a text or an email. We can have a discussion and let's move to the next level. We have to. The common enemy here is the poverty, and there is no nobility in poverty. See you the next time.